which I call now. Oh, sorry. It is a switch here that I must put on my side. So he's saying that there are no more students now, just the faculty. So you notice that the auditorium was full, and then in the philosophy kind of Oscar type, when the important artist leaves, then the substitute comes there to show that there was no free space in the auditorium. So we told to the students that Professor Wanda would be here and that these presentations would be interesting, but I on purpose I was asked whether I wanted some other students to come. I said no. Now I want opinion formers, the people who are interested, the teachers, the faculty. Not that the students are not interested. Others also needed to leave because of flight schedule and stuff, and some even apologized. But this is a strategic moment in which I really want to talk with people who are more involved with the project in itself. We now will ask Professor Wanda to talk about the Alice Summer Institute, and then in the following I want to share some ideas with you, exposing some of our limitations to you, or limits, and already drawing a strategy for Alice 2012. So this moment now is already of reflection regarding Alice 2012. Now the web page is a permanent forum. If you look at Alice Brazil web page, I put a link there with the background, the history, where at a certain moment you will see that the last year's page was frozen. Along the year we will have some ideas and activities, and when we get close to December I will freeze 2011 Alice page. It will go to history part of the website, and then the 2012 will arise. So 2011 already improved a lot regarding 2010. So after Professor Wanda's talk, I will talk about this with you. So please consider Alice Summer Institute in Carnegie Mellon, and now I give the floor to Professor Wanda.
Obrigado. Our budget for the year has several line items in it, but probably one of the one that I appreciate most of all is the fact that we put part of our annual budget towards providing instructional support. And that includes a number of facilities that have been developed specifically for support for teachers, professors. One of them is relatively new, and this was just begun a few months ago by Don Slater, who was here last year and gave presentations. And this is called the Alice Educator Mailing List. We do have a newsletter, and and Steve Cooper talked about the newsletter and the fact that you can subscribe to the newsletter. I will show you that email address again in case you did not have time to jot it down. Also, I will leave a copy of those slides with Professor Edson, and you can contact him to obtain information about such things as the Alice newsletter and the Alice Educator mailing list. The newsletter is published about once every 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Not very, it's not like once a week. It's not like spam in your mailbox. And we don't spam, so you won't get it unless you ask for it, all right? And the same thing is true for the Alice Educator mailing list in terms of the fact that we do not just automatically send this to people. You have to subscribe to the Educator mailing list. We do not have high traffic, but we have traffic every day. People who are asking a question and want an answer, and usually it's someone who's teaching a class and email begins, "One of my students," all right, "had this problem and I don't know the answer," or "I was trying to prepare for tomorrow's class and I don't know how to." That sort of thing. This is really terrific for us because what this does is it allows us to say, you know, over the last 3 months we've had 20 questions about such and such, and let's put together something on our website that answers that question. Let's put a note about it in the Alice newsletter so that we can help everyone out there who perhaps doesn't belong to the Educator mailing list, or didn't see that the response to that, something of that nature. So if you send us a message to the Alice Educator mailing list and it is in Portuguese, what we will do, I promise you, is we will do a copy and paste into Google Translate. All right? and then answer it, and in Google Translate our English answer back into Portuguese for you. And if it's not very good Portuguese, I'm going to blame Google Translate. Okay? But you are most welcome to subscribe to the Alice Educators mailing list, and you will see questions posted by teachers and answered by teachers. So the mailing list is for teachers and by the teachers and all about the teachers. All right? Which is really a huge, huge part of what we do. I can go out and do a camp for children, and I will have maybe 20, 25 children, and I've got to tell you that's something I really love to do. Or I can go out and do a week workshop for teachers, and then the teachers can turn around and teach hundreds of students, and I can't do that. And so this becomes a working relationship. I will help you in whatever way you ask me, if I can. But I can't go, I just don't have what you have, which is the ability to reach out to hundreds and thousands of children. So this is a mutual working relationship. Okay? You can turn to me for help. I can turn to you for help. And that's the way it works. Okay? That's my viewpoint. Now, this is on the Alice website, and you're welcome to just go there and click on the little subscribe link. This is where it is, and I'm sorry, it's just in English. If you have problems figuring out what it says, try Google Translate. Okay, but if that doesn't help, then send me email and say, would you subscribe me? Okay, and I will Google Translate to English, and Okay, so I have just a few slides, and I asked Edson, who's terrific, been terrific all week, to allow me to have a couple minutes to just go through some last-minute little things. All these have to do with instructional support. One of the things that we did in the slides that Steve went through in the previous hour, we went through the aliceprogramming.net website, which is where we store all of our materials, but it is password protected. All right? And this, folks, since we have in here all teachers, okay, except for Eric, all right, is the password, user ID and password. This will get you in, all right? All right, so you might want to jot that down. If you jot it down and then can't find it later, then you can send me email, and I will tell you. I will send it back to you. Brillig, B-R-I-L-L-I-G. That is from the Jabberwock poem in Alice in Wonderland. 'Twas brillig. Got it? I can go on? Okay. These are email addresses. My email, wpdan@andrew.cmu.edu. Why Andrew? Well, Andrew Carnegie and Andrew Mellon. All right. So the website at Carnegie Mellon is named Andrew. Steve Cooper is now at Stanford, as you saw today. Don Slater is also at CMU. He has, I think, 3 different addresses, and this is one of them. The cmu.edu is the one at on a different server. Okay? All right. The newsletter. This slide was up when Steve was talking, but he went through it rather quickly, and I thought you might not have had time to jot down Barbara Conover's email address. She is the one who handles subscriptions to the newsletter. And if you just send her, whoops, that's a wrong email. Pardon me. bconover@purdue.edu. She will have a Stanford email address soon. She's still in the process of moving to California, and so she still has her old email address. And I know they shouldn't go together, but they do. Until she is actually in California and officially an employee of Stanford, she will not get a Stanford email address. And last but not least, Alice Workshops this summer. These are 2 workshops that are being held on the Carnegie Mellon campus. We do have other workshops scheduled during the summer, but these workshops are sponsored by local organizations like the University in Santa Clara, California, pays for Don Slater to come and do a workshop there for teachers in the Silicon Valley area. And they get contributions from Google and Intel and so forth to host that, and they restrict attendance to high school teachers in that area. So we have workshops like that. We have a workshop at Carnegie Mellon also that's, but it's restricted to, that's different from this, but it's restricted to high school teachers in the states of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, and Maryland, which is an area that has high poverty. And so That's the reason for that. So these are the two workshops that would be easiest if you were interested in taking a workshop at Carnegie Mellon, and I think Edson is going to talk about that. But do let me tell you that these are week-long. That is, you arrive on a Sunday, and you do not depart until Friday afternoon or Saturday, preferably on Saturday. The workshops start at 8:30 in the morning and go through until about 4:30 in the afternoon. And it's workshop, 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 workshop. It is not, here is a presenter from Intel, or, it is a workshop, not a conference. And so it's like taking 5 classes a day, where each class is an hour plus in length. All right, so we go from beginning to end, and at the end, you are asked to present an ALICE project, such as one that you would use in your classroom. And so you get hands-on experience, you get step-by-step instructions, and we go through the entire curriculum in 4 days, close to 5 days. Questions with that regard? Okay, Professor Edson.
Stay here.
He's clarifying who was the Eric you mentioned, his son. Okay, let's comment some steps now that we had given and some steps that we have ahead of us. I would like to emphasize this booklet here has the articles which each one of you received in your folders. The colleagues who go to the Northeast, I gave you material for you to distribute among your colleagues and peers. This can be generated only with your cooperation. Many of you have your ideas, experiences, your background, experience, and no doubt many are leaving here with new concepts about ALICE. So what I would like to highlight here is that I need publications. Last year we asked for help to Professor Doralice from CCH, because the following day to the conference I felt like a president at the end of the mandate. Everybody left. The conference you organized is over now, just do what you need to. So I needed a lot of help, including about receiving the articles, screen them, send them to specialists, select the best ones, taking care of publication and other things. I have some experience with publications. I had the pleasure of publishing books with Professor Sergio, Melanie and Lincoln, and to follow some material, to follow up on some material. So I used this experience in the physical production, but with the articles I needed help from friends to give their opinions. So thanks to the workshop I commented about in the 8th of December, the people from SBC helped me in some steps, and on the ALICE page we are with the James system from SBC to receive articles and do all that's needed for a conference, with email, message, response if the article was submitted, approved or not, I put some colleagues as administrators, Professor Osvaldo and Sergio, more specifically. He's helping me more, and Professor Daniel also, who was here during lunchtime. So we have the GEM system working, which means much of what has been done in a more amateur way will not be done this way anymore. So at the end of May, we have some professors who are being recorded as critics to the system. We have also colleagues who are submitting their articles for tests. So it is something formal this year. So those who don't know the platform, it is so the articles are recorded there for some years, 3, 4, and also the approved articles are recorded there. This has some advantages. We have a system that will provide more visibility, even international in the case of conferences. At the same time, a professionalism when collecting the articles. And I confess that I feel a little pride in the sense that this material that is already pretty well tends to improve. But this will happen only if I get everybody's collaboration. So please submit your articles. I have budget to print 1,000 issues. In this conference I distributed only 100. I made some localized distributions. I will give some to some libraries, the colleague from Dante School and other institutions. I can give you an issue of this material to be divulged. It will be at the school's library. I will give them a considerable amount. The objective is to divulge is publicity. I also took the care of leaving a PDF CD, and the materials are on the web page of Alice Brazil, and as everything shows, they will be there in the term without determined time to take them out. So this issue will be given in the Alice 2012, and it will have the articles you published. Our philosophy is not of denying articles. We even accept some which are not exactly what we want them to be here. There were 2 articles that were rejected, one due to the writing's quality and the other due to being totally out of context. But apart from that, the bad ones we asked them to be corrected, but I would like less articles from the insiders and more from authors. For example, I have 4 articles plus the presentation, so I would like more diversity.
I would like this publication in the next year become like a background and be a material in Portuguese to be used to teach. We have already some articles that can be used as learning material and learning tool, and which can be used as learning tool. This is the first issue, and the second is Alice Summer. I would like to get to Brazilian team and invading Carnegie College and to be in the university. I haven't the opportunity to stay at the college. When you subscribe for the Congress, it's cheaper if you include the lodging, and I was in the process of been finishing my submission and my inscription. I have understood, maybe I misunderstood, and when I was paying, I hadn't the authorization to get my lodging, so I have my inscription cancelled, and then I have to find a hotel. And Melanie and Rita were there, and they have enjoyed a lot. They have talked with and met a lot of teachers from United States and out and abroad, from Costa Rica. Diana, an Uruguay teacher that works in Canada, Osvaldo here, and me and myself, we had the opportunity to take benefit from this. During the coffee break of Uberlândia, he was telling me that he's intending to go this year, and I'm trying to convince some colleagues too. If there is someone which has interest, or someone that is seeing this our online transmission and wants to go to Carnegie Mellon, I suggest to make all the procedures and inscriptions and email us, because I want to tell Professor Wanda that some Brazilian colleagues are going to be there. Any question? Alice Brazil 2012. I don't know exactly the date, but we think that it would be maybe near the date of Febrace. We may have made this on purpose. We had some advantages because our colleague from Pernambuco was able to come, but next year, if it's positive, okay, but I'm not sure. I think that combine and matches the dates between Febrace and Alice, it's not allowed us to participate to Febrace because I was here. I'm sorry, but I can not hear him because he doesn't have a microphone. He's mentioning something about robotics, something like that. This was the main motivator that we have choose to organize this. Alice, he wasn't talking into the microphone, and it was a matter of costs, in fact, because when we have some colleagues coming from other states, they got the budget to come to Febrace, and they can come to and participate to Alice. This was exactly our intention. So we have the dates for Febrace 2012. Do you know the date? This date, it's already defined, so we could take the same date and this. Could you talk into the microphone, please? Febrace, it's from Tuesday to Friday. On Friday there is a prize session, and on Saturday it's a prize session. So we could took those days on Friday and Saturday that were calmer days, and we do not need to tutor our students. It would be easier, and it would make available to come to Febrace and to be here at Alice. I think it's possible. Thank you for the suggestion. We are gonna to take your suggestion into account. There is an orientation, an internal orientation of Mackenzie, that some events like of this nature are organized in the middle of the week. This is the reason we have Tuesday and Wednesday. Exceptionally, this week I have reserved this auditorium all the week because I wasn't sure. So at the first editions of the site of Alice 2011 has seen that the date was from 21st to 26th March. But this week, particularly, it's a very crowded week, including for the Mackenzie, because in the other in the other building of Mackenzie there is an event of opera. I was asking him to move his date, but it wasn't possible. So this week we are having some changes in the board of the university. So our principal is quitting, and we will have a new principal. Particularly for engineering school, it's interesting because the vice principal is the director of engineering school, and I have called for an homage because he was very important for Alice project. Personally, for me, when he has made me of a teacher oriented to researches, and thanks to his tutoring, I could dedicate myself to Alice. And I know that he was on the backstage, on my background, helping me for the budget. He's not here now, but I would like to say to you, I'm really thankful to Pedro Gonzalez that is leaving our university. Besides him, I would like to thank Marcelo Mendes, our current director, which is becoming the vice principal, and he has been represented here by teacher Leila, because he has always supported me unconditionally in a lot of moments of Alice project. He was the one that has believed in the project, even when some colleagues that are with me for 20 years, he was always supporting me, and I thanks Professor Wanda. I had, when I was in and I arrived in English, I was speaking Spanglish, well, Portuguese English. So, and I cannot forget a lot of teachers that I have crossed during the way: Magda, Lincoln, the students from the academic center, the teachers, Professor Daniel Benicis, and I don't want to mention all the names because I don't want to forget nobody. And even mentioning to the sponsorship from Bentley that has paid for the coffee break, Febrasi people. So if our project is where it is, if we could be here today, it's because we had volunteer support from a lot of people, from a lot of institutions, and I invite you, especially who those are not from Mackenzie, that we would like you join our team. The collaboration of a lot of people from all the states of Brazil. I do not like to be, maybe I'm blind because of the project. When you are involved in a project you can get blind, but I feel solidarity and volunteer, and I think that Alice, it's growing, and I am the person who is speaking in front of you. I have took the initiative. It's not a project, it's not my project, it's not a project of Mackenzie, it's a project of the community Alice community in the world. And we here have decided to organize this event, and it was very funny, it was very nice, enjoyable, and we are going to have another drawing of more tigers. We have 3 tigers. We have orphan. You have 3 tigers orphan that are trying to find a home. Okay, so now I would like to ask you, Alice Brazil 2012. It will be Alice 2012 or Alice Latin America. So our web page, with I count on the help and support from a lot of teachers. I have some teachers that are translating to English, to Spanish, and sometimes it's a little difficult and bizarre for me because there was I had a page, and the page hasn't a translation, and suddenly I got two translations for the same page. So and I put half and a half, and we would like to connect with other universities in Latin America, Chile, Mexico, in the North America, Costa Rica. We got contact through Professor Wanda when Melanie was at the Carnegie Mellon. So we could, given the next step, could you help me? Let's go to Alice Latin America, or are we going to organize Alice Brazil 2012? Well, Fabio is talking about an issue I'm gonna repeat. What is the feeling we have of the use of this tool in Brazil? Do we have a lot of people using the tool? Because apparently few are the people using this tool. I agree with Fabio. I think that very few people are using this tool. We are progressing, we are improving in this use, and this is exactly the situation that makes me maybe to postpone in 1 or 2 years the Alice Latin America. And this observation of Fabio, it's really interesting. I think that we could wait for 1 more year, and we could invite our partners from other countries. But I think that we could try to go Alice 2012 again, just to strengthen the project. I have talked about this. I think that we need to bring into the event people that are important in this process, the kids and the teens. I think that we could try to organize an event focused, maybe a competition like the one in United States, something that we could organize with a dimension, with a smaller dimension, because our audience it's small. So together with the Secretariat of Municipality and MEC, the Ministry of Education, to divulgate this event, because we could organize an online event because it's too much expensive. We could try to organize a stand of Alice inside Febrasi. Febrasi has some courses that they offer courses to teachers and students, and we could organize a course to divulgate the use of Alice 2. We have some professionals that are very interested in, but I feel that we need something more concrete in order to divulgate this in the school. I work with Alice from about now 4 years, but I do not know other schools in Bahia that use this tool. So people are seeing me like a bother person, because I'm always talking, look, Alice, it's a very good tool, you must use it, you must try it, it's very nice. I think that we can give this step, and we can pull Alice to the schools and to make it nearer to students. Besides Fabio, I know that Eric Acero in São Carlos city. He was here yesterday and he was interviewed by TV Mackenzie. He's making his efforts like you. Both of you are the two initiatives that I know that are more acting, more present. You are working more with kids and teens, and Eric a little bit more with college students. So there are some isolated initiatives. Yes, Osvaldo. We use in some universities classes, we use Alice to teach graphic communication using Alice, but I think I see Alice like a tool to learn, to teach teens, because I'm using this tool and I think that maybe it's not suitable for college. Oh, as well as Fabio has organized Anima Alice in Bahia. Osvaldo has Anima Santa here in Santana University. He hasn't used only Alice, but Power Ray too. And in the other year he has organized Alice Summer Institute with us. Without working with Alice, he had taught to students. We have here, you have Alice too, so now organize your events and your works, and we had some interesting works. When we went to Pittsburgh, we had submit and present some student works. So this is our stage, this is the step we are. Let's summarizing everything we have mentioned here. There's a preference to Alice Brasil 2012 together with Febrace. This is my conclusion, to minimizing the costs for the teachers that are coming from distant states, and maybe waiting to organize the Alice Latin America. And let's try in the next edition of Alice organize a contest and a competition about the articles and the papers. I have asked you, I need your cooperation in order to submit the articles and the papers. Talking about the other schools, we have people from Method and teaching from Mackenzie School, and the Mackenzie High School is gonna be a little bit more integrated. We have the extension course. We have 75 places. It seems that this course it's gonna be to postpone because of the inscriptions. But the idea is to have a group working on Thursday morning, Friday afternoon, and Wednesday night. From Mackenzie people, I knew that from the HR, if you do not know, if there is a predisposition from the HR to pay 30% of those 75 places for as a training budget. If we have a professor, a teacher that wants to, it's a Mackenzie's teacher, okay. There is a budget from the HR for our teachers for this extension course, and we have tried to find really good benefit cost. During the second semester, I think that we are trying to publicate a version in Portuguese for distant learning. Do you want a drawing from tigers? Someone wants to adopt? I'm Torresiano from Mackenzie High School. I'm here with Leah with the elementary school, and we were discussing. We are really interested. It's our first contact with Alice. It's our first participation in into the Congress, and something that I was commenting with her. Fabio was telling us that he works with Alice, and Professor Osvaldo with his computing students. We are curious. There are some works that could be presented in a future Congress, or there is any work that could be presented to us. We are curious about, and I, as a teacher of a high school, I ask Professor Wanda and to those that are in touch and know better Alice program, there is any possibility to work some maths concept as establishing equations. For example, if I want to create an animation of an obliquous or an equation, a math equation could describe the trajectory of this object. Could we treat this in maths? Because as a tool for Java language, I thought that it was very interesting. But as I'm a math teacher, is it possible to applicate and to have a specific application for maths to develop this kind of project with the students through Alice?
Okay, I was trying to listen to the English and the Portuguese at the same time. So allow me to be sure I'm understanding your question correctly. Are you asking, is it possible to develop math applications in Alice? Yes? Okay. Then the answer to that is yes, and it depends the age level. As we looked at earlier today, I don't recall everyone who was here. The room was full, so earlier today we looked at that curriculum to go from kindergarten all the way through into the first year of college. So I think it depends greatly on the age level, the grade level of the students as to how you would go about doing that. We have developed a math library for Alice, and we could make that available to you. And basically, you simply create an invisible object, or you can put a book into the scene. You can check a book out of the library and put a book in the scene, and that book would have in it all the methods and functions that you might want, particularly for something like a physics application where you want to compute something like projectile motion. You want to do something like orbiting planets around the sun. The typical kinds of word problems that involve mathematical computations can certainly be done in Alice. It's much easier in, I think, in Alice 3 to work with, because I think it's easier to work with expressions in that in the new drag and drop environment than it was in the Alice 2 or is in the Alice 2.2 drag and drop environment. But we do have an Alice 2.2 math library, and we can share that with you. Also, the shapes, 3D models, there are a number of shapes, and so there are cones, and you can do computation of the volume of a cone, resize it, find out how much it has changed in volume, these kinds of things. Very easy to do. So I don't know if that gives you as much detail as you would like, but I want to convey the positive, a positive response to that.
Did you want to say something? I don't hear him without the microphone. Não, não deixa ela. Okay. At Uni Santana, there is an experience with the students using Alice to prepare videos to teach Down syndrome children to detect dangerous situations. So some work, I won't say fully scientific, but semi-scientific for students trying to use Alice in other areas. Professor Melanie told me that on a workshop she received at Summer Institute, an American teacher from her group was using for physics questions. He made the golf game, the ball receiving the impact, is that so? Ball receiving the impact, calculating the curvature with acceleration, gravity and all of that. This is possible, yes. Osvaldo, I let them say, but I had the answer already. We are in an environment with a graphic editor, a 3D editor. For our students, this gives a sensation of depth of 3D universe, which is very important, a very interesting notion of space in the virtual universe. And we have an editor of program codes in which the student is learning the basic concepts of a programming language. So you have the combination of two fantastic worlds. When I was recently graduated, I liked computing a lot. I was a point outside the curve. I did engineering and data processing at the same time. My first job at Intergráfica Brazil, my boss was extremely admired because I had these two concepts, which was very very sound, because I did the programming course and also my 16-year-old son, I see him doing something that it took me 5 to 6 years more to have the knowledge. So we are talking about the fact that our students being able to have a sensitivity and experience which took us 10 years to acquire, with a very joyful and playful to the video game generation, as we commented several times during the conference. Another contribution? So before closing, so next year, Alice Brazil, we have articles. Here we will have a competition at least. So Professor Wanda wants to say we have two more details. Alice Brazil, material, please send publications. We will leave this together with Febrasi. Will it be too difficult for you the week before, week after? Would it be too unfeasible if I would increase the days? We will go to Febrasi with Wanda. I will talk about this with Rosalie. Professor Wanda will make another contribution, and then I will ask I am asking her to come to the front. She will kill me. So Professor Wanda, please make your contribution.
I realize we're coming to the close of the day, and I have two things I would like to say. One is obrigada. You have been so terrific, and I still have several days here to enjoy being with many of you, and I just want to say how much I appreciate that. Thank you. Also, I want to say that I am very much aware of the fact that ALICE is a pioneer. The ALICE software being used as an instructional tool was the very first one that I know of where we were taking 3D graphics and using it for teaching students Introduction to Programming. Randy Pausch, in his last lecture, talked about being a pioneer with ALICE, and he said, you know, you can always tell who the pioneers are. They're the ones with the arrows in their back. And that refers to the American West, where the pioneers in America, in the United States, which was not the United States at that time. It was a colony of the British Empire. And at that time, the pioneers were pushing westward, and quite often they were surprised by the Native Americans, and they were engaged in combat with the Native American tribes who used arrows, bows and arrows, and that was very unfair because the pioneers had rifles. So anyway, the idea, what I want to say is that we realize the software is new. We realize the approach is innovative. It is not perfect. We are still working to develop this. And we invite you to come along for our journey. And we welcome your participation, your help in making this happen. So thank you so much.
So now I will ask for those who already grabbed your Tigers, please don't get a number for the draw. This includes you. So maybe those who didn't get any might have a little chance. That's why I asked the students not to come in. I thought we would increase the opportunities for you guys here. So please, while we are distributing the last numbers for the draw, I want to ask two went Professor Magda. I'm asking Professor Cleverson couldn't come. He is on medical leave. I inscribed him. If he came at the opening, I even asked him to talk. Professor Magda, as an extension, will talk to us. So, good afternoon. I hope it was a good event for everyone. We from Mackenzie University have a tripod, teaching, research and extension, in which we try to make an interface among the three, and we are going towards this interface, which is solidifying itself. So an event like this, we are colleagues with Edson since our college time. It is a long way together. I know what an endeavor he had, and we have tried to support. So one of the efforts we are trying is exactly this course for the teachers, our teachers. I hope we can do that, and so that we can go with Pittsburgh, support Wanda's, so that Alice takes off in our country. And in this moment, in the name of our university, I want to leave you a gift, and thank you again for all of this. Congratulations, Edson, for the event. Please take a picture.
Okay. I know my accent is terrible. But from my heart, I want to say you have touched my heart. Obrigado.
So the last draw.
O tigrinho vai para... $126. Aha. He's going to Pernambuco. Picture, please. He's not a good photographer. The battery has ended. Próximo tigrinho vai para 166. Please, you from Pernambuco, come here too. Let's take a picture together. Okay. So we are going to share the pictures. Okay. O último tigrinho vai para 139. This is not fair. Come on, let's go. My friends, I think that we have finished. We have achieved our goal and our mission. Teacher Raquel is remembering us about the inquiry. You have some minutes to fill in. Thank you. Let's clap hands for everybody and Professor Wanda too. And see you in Alice Brazil 2012 in March 2012.